All right, hello and welcome. I wanted to do a quick video for you today to talk about the sizing of these bikes. I'm fortunate enough to have a bunch of different e-bikes on hand, including a full-size Radrover Step Thru and the Rad Mini Step Thru. And I get questions all the time, either when I'm out riding the bikes or through my website, in email, or in the comments section saying, which one should I get? Or I just went out and I ordered 2 full-size Radrovers for me and my wife. Is it gonna be too big for her? Well, I hope she's pretty tall and has good strength and balance, because this is a big bike. It's a very, very common question, like which one should I get? Is this bike gonna be too small for me? Is it a kid's bike? It is not at all. So I want to put these two side by side so you can see them. And it's really hard to get a perspective for what these bikes actually are sized, just by looking at pictures on the website and thinking in your mind, okay, a 26-inch mountain bike, I can ride that. Well, not really. I mean, from the ground to the top of these tires, it's actually 29 inches on this. And this being that's a 20-inch fat tire, from ground to top of tire here is like 22 inches. So they're a little bit bigger tires on there. It makes them a little taller. And I guess maybe to try to put it in a little bit more perspective, I'm gonna do this. All right, here you go. This is your everyday, run-of-the-mill, standard issue, cheap, generic, Walmart 26-inch tire mountain bike. So this is, you go buy a 26-inch wheel mountain bike at Walmart, this is what you get. And you can see that, I mean, compared to this thing is just a Goliath of a bike. And even compared to this thing, this isn't a very big bike. So, I mean, take a look at the seat heights and the handlebar heights. This bike is way bigger in person than you're thinking. It's not a kid's bike at all. I am 6 foot 1 inches tall, and I can ride this Mini very comfortably. So what I'm saying to you is, if you are asking yourself the question, is the Mini gonna be too small for me? Absolutely not. Unless you're like probably 6'3" or taller, you're gonna be fine riding this. I can ride this very comfortably, it feels great. You might be asking yourself, more common question, is this bike gonna be too big for me? Yeah, there's a very good chance it's gonna be too big for you. This one's probably never gonna be too small. This one absolutely could be too big. To give you a feel, I'm gonna get this out of the way. Now to give you just a little bit more information, these are both the Step Thru versions. The Step Thru here, your battery is gonna go over here. I don't have the battery in it right now. So it makes it a little bit more narrow, and from the ground to getting your foot through here, it's probably gonna be about 21 inches. On this one, it's probably closer to 17 inches. So if you're looking for Step Thru because you're worried about, throwing your leg over the bike or whatever, and you want the lowest Step Thru you can get, this one, about 17 inches is where you gotta be on that one. And this, I don't recommend you putting the bottle holder there like we did. I'll probably change it out and get a bottle holder that goes right here, because that gets in the way of the Step Thru. Same here, bottle hole brackets right there, probably gonna be in the way. But this, I think if you're a short person, don't have good balance, you're older, whatever it might be, you're worried about dealing with the size of these bikes, I would definitely go this route. Doesn't have to be Rad, you can go get whatever brand, but because most of them are offering the full size or the Mini options. But if you're worried about the size of the bike, go the Mini route for sure. I don't think you're going to regret it. And I'll show you. So like I said, I'm 6 foot 1 and I can ride this extremely comfortably. I don't even have the seat the whole way up right now. This is about where I ride it. If I put the seat the whole way up, I don't think I can get complete full leg extension, but I don't ride like that anyway. I just cruise on it. So this is very comfortable to ride. I would ride this myself. I do ride this bike every once in a while. It's a great bike. So can't go wrong with getting the Mini version as opposed to this huge version. There's not much difference in weight. They both still weigh like 70 pounds, but this one's a lot more, it's easier to deal with for sure. All right, I brought this 26-inch regular mountain bike back into the picture. It's really hard to do it justice on camera. You really need to see these bikes in person to realize how big they are. There's not much size difference, honestly, between this 20-inch fat tire and this 26-inch regular mountain bike. And I do this because a lot of you probably have one of these, these bikes right here hanging on your garage wall, that you don't ride anymore. But I mean, the Mini is almost equivalent. I mean, the handlebar height might tell the story. You can see how much higher the handlebars on the Mini. It can really fit a very tall rider and a very short rider. You know, I also did a video called How Big Is Your Rover? Back, if you check my video library, it gives you some more side-by-side comparisons of this bike versus the full-size Rad Rovers and just how big those bikes are. Because they're, you know, you can't really appreciate the size of these until you see them in person. I got a feeling that a lot of people, this shows up at their door and they put it together and they're like, holy cow, this thing's enormous, because they really are. Here's one last comparison. This is the you know, the regular mountain bike in between my Hemiway Cruiser and my full-size Rad Rover. They really just dwarf this bike in every way, including weight, which is something to keep in mind. You know, a regular mountain bike, this thing weighs like 30 pounds. These other bikes weigh 70 to 80, depending on how much stuff you add to it. If you're like me, I add a lot of accessories to my bike, so they get heavy. I think my Rad Rover weighs around 83 pounds. Well, I hope that was some useful information for you, or at least maybe entertaining to watch. You know, I'm fortunate enough to have all these e-bikes, so I like to put out as much useful content as I can. So if you like what you see, hit subscribe, because I'm going to keep doing comparisons as I, you know, get more bikes and also continue to modify. This one's been modified like crazy. You can find all the accessories on my website if you're interested. This one is probably maybe next on my list to add some stuff to. I've got a few things on order. I'm doing suspension seat post on the Hemiway, and I did order some Tannis liners as well, which I love. And we're gonna run a little experiment. So spoiler alert, you know, on this bike, I put the Tannis armor in the tires. Did a whole video thing on that, check it out, but it's basically foam that goes inside these tires, and it just made the ride so squishy soft. It's amazing. I changed the tires as well at the same time, so I don't know how much was that, how much was from tires, how much was from foam, how much was, you know, combined both. I don't know, but we're gonna leave the stock tires on the Hemiway and put the foam liners in, and, you know, see if I get the same ride quality, because this thing is just like floating on air when you drive it. It's amazing. You feel like you don't even need rear suspension with how squishy soft the tires are. So I'm anxious to see if it does it on this bike as well. But we are doing a suspension seat post. I did not get an expensive one. I got a cheap one because I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not. I didn't want to spend $200 on the thing if I don't like it or need it. So I went the cheaper route. We'll see how it works out. I'll of course let you know. Probably won't do much to this bike. This is wifey's bike, so hands off. I can't touch it and mess with it and make it powerful. She doesn't want that. So, which is understandable. It's fine the way it is. It's actually a really, really smooth, nice riding bike. I really like that Mini. So I'm not steering you away from that one at all. This one, if I'm being honest, I don't like this bike. I bought it for, you know, comparison purposes. I just, you know, I do a lot of comparison videos, and I wanted a untampered with Rad bike to ride around. And I don't like the ergonomics of this bike at all. It's my least favorite to ride out of this collection. So, you know, whatever. Nothing against Rad, clearly, because I own 3 of their bikes, but for whatever reason, I don't like the feel of this bike. But we'll keep it around just so I can test against it with other things that I accumulate. Running out of storage for all these, though. But check out some of my other videos. I did a lot on this Rad. I think I have over 60 or 70 videos on that thing. I mean, doing all the alterations to it. Quite a few lately on the Hemiway, because I just got that, and more to come on that one. That's kind of a newcomer to the market, and a lot of people are getting this bike, so I've been trying to put out some useful stuff on that. I still need to do the whole screen thing. I got a special treat for that, though, actually. I'm gonna go over how to do a couple of things in the programming and then give you a link to something else that I think you'll like. So I'll get to that one too. And that, I think, is all for today. But hit subscribe so you know when I put out more stuff. Let me know if you have any video comparisons or ideas you want me to do. We kind of did a little comparison on these two here today, the full-size Step Thru and the Mini Step Thru. But I mean, they're virtually identical with components and power. I mean, if anything, the Mini has a little bit more because it doesn't have the huge tires that you got. You know, there's more torque in the little tires. But I mean, they're pretty much identical, just except for the frame design and the step through height and everything. If you got questions, comments, video ideas, leave them in the comments, or, you know, email me through the website. I check that too and try to get back as quickly as I can. So do me a favor, if you know folks that have rad bikes or e-bikes in general, or looking at buying e-bikes, share my channel or share some videos with them. I put a lot of content out there. Even did a comparison on my father's electric XP, which is another popular bike, compared to that, Rad Mini. So got a lot of good e-bike content out there in my video library, so check it out. And I think that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more.